Hello, my name is Gary Smith and welcome to Clerk of the Court Live. Okay, this is a live interactive show and we invite callers to call in and to ask us questions that they might have about our topic for today. Again, my name is Gary Smith. I am the branch court manager for the criminal department for the Honorable Dorothy Brown, Clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County. And again, we invite you to call us at 312-738-1060. Again, the number is 312-738-1060. And we'd like for you to call in about today's topic, which will be e-filing. Our guest for today is Mr. Mike Moore. Mr. Moore is the Executive Clerk for Administration and Operations for the Clerk of the Circuit Court. Mike, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Gary. Happy to be here on Court Clerk Live with you.
Thank you for being here. Mike, we'd just like to know a little bit about what you do as the Executive Clerk for the Clerk of the Circuit Court.
As the Executive Clerk for Court Operations and Administration, basically my day-to-day duties are to oversee, along with many people who work in the operational divisions, all the court operations of the Clerk of the Circuit Court's office. So all three areas of law: traffic, criminal, civil courts. And I know today we're going to be talking mostly about civil because of e-filing coming in the civil courts. But the Clerk of the Court, my position as Executive Clerk is overseeing the operations in each of those areas.
Well, great, Mike. I know that you have been intricately involved since its inception with e-filing. So, we just might as well get right into it in terms of explaining to our listening audience what exactly is e-filing.
Well, e-filing is a great advancement for the justice system, and that is that we no longer will have to, nor will the filer have to use paper to file their cases with us. So the technology now is that people can go in and file online. So it's electronic filing. Literally, you go in and use your computer, get on your computer and be able to file your lawsuit or defend your lawsuit remotely online. And now Gary, we've had e-filing in the clerk's office for a number of years.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify that. This is not anything new to the clerk's office. I think probably going back to 2009 we started with, we're approved for, and we have e-filing in our civil areas. And so we've had permissive e-filing for a number of years.
Okay.
So now really what the mandate from the Supreme Court is that there is going to be mandatory e-filing. So no longer permissive. As of July 1, a couple weeks from now, July 1, for civil areas of law, you will be required, whether you're an attorney or pro se, self-represented litigant, you will be required to e-file rather than paper file.
That's very interesting, Mike. So now, if you can just break it down a little bit more in terms of the permissive filing, which we had been doing before, and now the mandatory e-filing. Can you just, for our listening audience, be able to explain the difference between those two?
Yes, I will. And actually, we are moving to a new system. Our current system and the one that we used for permissive e-filing was created specifically for Cook County, and that is the system that we're using now.
Okay.
And have been for a number of years. We will be moving July 1, and we have already, as far as transitioning into also a permissive state, with a statewide e-file system, e-file Illinois. So we are now moving into, pursuant to a Supreme Court order of Illinois, all of the 102 counties will be in a unified e-file system. It is called e-file Illinois. And so that's the biggest change for us. We're moving from the Cook County system that we have and have been using for a number of years into, as is every other county, mandated by the Supreme Court, into the statewide system, e-file Illinois. And we've been working very closely with the state to transfer over to that system. And in fact, right now, people are able to use e-file Illinois to file Cook County cases right now. It's still just not mandatory. It's permissive, meaning if they want to, they can. If they want to walk in with their paper, they still can.
Okay.
Now, again, I can't say this enough. July 1, no more permissive. It is mandatory, means it is required.
Yes, sir.
And so the attorneys will be ready for that. There is an exception. There will be for self-represented litigants. We refer to them as pro se litigants. So you might hear pro se, you might hear self-represented.
Okay.
It just means they're acting as their own attorney.
Yes, sir.
They are required by the order of the Supreme Court to e-file. But the Supreme Court also did issue an exemption. For certain things, you can say, I just am not able to e-file. And those reasons might be that you don't own a computer.
Yes, sir.
So that would be a valid reason to say, I am going to continue with paper filing. Or if English is your second language,
okay,
you also would be able to say, I am going to continue with paper filing. Or if it is a sensitive type of case, like an order of protection, those types of sensitive cases where the information is more confidential, more sensitive nature, those litigants, again, also will be able to say, I don't want to e-file, I am going to use paper. And we will continue to accept paper for those people, pro se, self-represented litigants, to file paper. However, the attorneys are required. There is no exemption for attorneys. July 1, civil areas of law, all civil case types, except for wills. Wills are not part of the mandatory order to e-file. So wills will not be electronically filed. Wills in our probate division will still be the conventional paper filing. But everything else for attorneys on July 1 will be e-filed.
So that's very interesting, Mike. So you're saying that all areas of law, except for all areas of civil, will be mandatory e-filing for attorneys.
Yes. So divorce cases, chancery cases, small claims, large claim, monetary claims, law division cases, probate estate cases, tax cases in the county division, all of our civil types of cases will be e-filed.
So I heard you mention a hard date, but specifically when is it going to be mandatory that e-filing goes into effect?
July 1, a couple of weeks from now.
That's why I wanted to emphasize that, to our listening audience, that in a couple of weeks on July 1st, e-filing will be mandatory.
Right. And so to prepare not only us for this, but to prepare the filers, we've been offering training on site at the Daily Center. We have a training room which will continue to operate going forward as well. We have had this established for many, many months, Gary, to help not only attorneys, self-represented litigants to come in and get training. Also, training is available via webinars that are available on the clerk's website. We might want to put up the locations of the clerk's office and also our website information because our website contains a lot of great information, not only for e-filing, it contains a lot of great information about the clerk's office in general. But if you want to find out about e-filing specifically and also get links to the training webinars about how to e-file, because I think we should spend a little time in informing people about how they are going to go about e-filing.
Absolutely.
But maybe we could put up our...
Well, we have some information about the clerk of the circuit court that we'd like to be able to just give people. This is basic information about the clerk of the circuit court in Cook County and where you would go to obtain more information. Our location, our main address is at 50 West Washington, room 1006.
1001.
And I'm talking 1006 for the criminal department because I was in the criminal department for a number of years. You know, so I apologize to you. Yeah, but our main office is at 50 West Washington, room 1001.
Right.
1001, Chicago, Illinois, 60602. Our office hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, but that excludes court holidays. Okay? Our phone number is 312-603-5031 if you want basic information. And our email address is courtclerk@cookcountycourt.com. Now we have other locations throughout Cook County for the clerk's office. Our criminal division, which is located at 2650 South California in Chicago. Our domestic violence division, which is at 555 West Harrison in Chicago. Our juvenile justice and child protection division is located at 1100 South Hamilton, room 13 in Chicago. And we also have locations in District 2, which is Skokie, District 3, which is Rolling Meadows, District 4, which is Maywood, District 5, which is Bridgeview, and District 6, which is in Markham.
You know, Gary, I'm very happy that you just recited all of those locations, because I want to tell everybody, our viewing audience out there, that e-filing will be available not only from your home computer, not only from your office computer. You will be able to come to any of our court locations. Any court location, okay. We have set up e-filing stations at each of our civil court locations. So all of those suburban areas you just mentioned, if you walk into Skokie, if you walk into Rolling Meadows, Maywood, Bridgeview, if you walk into Markham, it is set up for you to e-file from within the confines of our office.
That's great.
In case you know you're on the road or you're down for a court hearing anyway and you want to e-file something, you will be able to file in our office. And in fact, in the Daily Center, each of our divisions will be set up to have e-filing and in all areas to assist e-filers, to help them through the process of e-filing. And we have at the Daily Center, room LL12, the lower level, we have an e-file center for people to come down and e-file, get training, get help, get assistance from us, and we will walk them through the process.
And we're going to talk about how you register in order to file, but I'd also like to just let our audience know that this is Clerk of the Court Live, and again, this is an interactive program in which, we encourage you to call,
Yes,
with
sir.
questions that you might have or comments about our particular topic of e-filing.
I think we have a caller right now.
I see we have one right now. Caller, welcome to Clerk of Court Live.
Yes, thank you. You know what? All this great information and all the great things that the Clerk of Court, Circuit Court does for the people, is it just for us U.S. citizens or people that aren't citizens? Do they get to get their part of it?
Well, that's a good question, sir. Mike, maybe you want to, answer that question. Can people who are undocumented be able to still have access to the courts and still be able to e-file?
Absolutely, and really the only requirement for e-filing will be that you have to register with one of the, we'll get to the electronic filing service provider process, but you will have to register to e-file. And all you need to register is an email address. So actually that was a good question, and it leads us into how do you e-file. It really does.
Exactly.
In order to e-file, you need to register with an electronic file service provider, and we're going to talk about how you do that. But when you go to register, you will need an email address. So that's good. If you don't have one now, you need to create an email address for yourself. If you come into our office, we will help you do that as well. When I mentioned, Gary, that we will offer assistance on site, part of that assistance, it will be from nuts to bolts, from the beginning to the end. So if you need help, if you walk in and say, I don't even have an email address, come on over here to this computer. We're going to bring up the screen for you. You select an email company that you want to establish an email address, because you need an email address in order to e-file. That's part of the registration process.
So when you come in to our Daily Center location and people have questions about how to register,
or any location,
or any of our locations, they will be able to get the information on how to register, how, you know, to become a filer, electronic filer. You have people on every site location that gives you information about how to get started.
How to get started, we're going to walk them right to we have the hardware, we have the computers, we have the scanners, we have the printers, we have all the equipment they need. We will walk them over and walk them through the process to get set up. Now, part of that process, so you have an email address and you register. The system works to e-file Illinois, that you choose an entity. There will be a list to choose from. Right now there's 12, and it may grow, of certified electronic file service providers, EFSPs for short, electronic file service providers. And it'll be on, you'll see them, the names of the companies with a short description of what they offer. And you need to select one of the EFSPs to register with and to perform your e-file. And then that e-file goes into e-file Illinois, the statewide system, and it comes to the clerk's office to become a case in our system. So, and e-filing, by the way, is not just for new cases. Existing cases, so cases right now, in fact, that are paper, July 1, filings on that case will be electronically filed. So it's for new cases and existing cases that you will e-file into those cases. And so you will need to register to e-file with an electronic file service provider. And those lists will be there on our website and on the e-file website that you can select from the EFSPs.
So existing cases, the paper that you already have in the files, will those documents, how will they be converted over to the e-file? Will they be scanned and, you know, put into, and will we keep those paper files, or will we move away from paper with existing files already?
Here's the great thing about e-file, and Gary, you know, because you worked with the office for so long, in criminal and in civil, we have been scanning documents for years.
Yes.
So we have millions of our documents. We have them in both paper, but also we have a scanned image of that on our docket that people can come in and take a look at, that judges can take a look at. You don't need the actual paper anymore. You can look at that image. We've been scanning for a long time. The beautiful thing about e-file is that when you e-file, that image is scanned automatically. There's no clerk scanning it like we do now.
Okay.
If e-file the document, it goes to our electronic docket, the court docket, showing that it has been filed. The official court docket will show this has been filed, and not only that, the image of that document, what you have filed electronically,
yes,
the image will also be available, all without human intervention.
That's great, Mike.
I know it's a great benefit of e-filing.
I know there may be a lot of our listening audience that may have a little apprehension and, you know, again, may need more information about e-filing and how you go about getting ready for July 1st. So we'd like to give you all a little information about mandatory e-filing, okay? And as it says, it begins July 1st, 2018. And this is a notice to let you know that e-filing training is available, okay? So you can come to our Daily Center location, and as Mike has said, you can go to all of our locations to get information and get e-filing training.
Yeah. And Gary, we're very excited that so that lower level LL12 and Daily Center is going to be really kind of almost like a one-stop shop for a lot of people. And we have a lot of terminals set up there for self-paced training. So you will come in and we'll get you over to a terminal where you'll be able to go view these webinars on your own, at your own pace. We call it self-paced. And they'll be able to go there, and you know, our people will be there to assist them to get them on the system. But then they will just go through the training. It's a self-paced training. They can also do that remotely at home or in their office by going online. The webinars are offered also online, and you would just go to our Clerk Dorothy Brown's website, www.cookcountyclerkofcourt.org, www.cookcountyclerkofcourt.org, and you have links to the e-file webinars.
That's great, Mike. We really appreciate it. This seems to be some very helpful information about how we can move forward with Clerk Brown's initiatives of moving the clerk's office into the 21st century.
Gary, a question we get all the time. We've done different training sessions, and we've gone to different bar association meetings, and we've met with the pro se advocate groups, and we've met with the judges, and we've discussed this for months and months and months and planned this for a long time. Things are going really well. You know, one of the questions that we would get is what's the cost? How much does it cost to e-file?
That's my next question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, most people get to it sooner or later.
I'm sure that's a factor.
And that's because in the older system, there was not a clerk's fee, not a government fee, but the company that was doing that, they charge a transaction fee, but of a couple dollars per filing. But for the statewide system, there are EFSPs, those electronic file service providers. You can file for free. Now what that means is there's no transaction fee. Of course, you still pay if there's a fee due on your case. If you are filing a new small claims and it costs, you know, $220.
Okay.
I mean, you still have to pay that. You still have to pay the filing fee, but there's no e-file transaction fee. Some of the EFSPs, so for filing, there's no extra fee. Some of the EFSPs, they charge a fee if they're chosen by that user, and it's totally their choice, that user's choice, the filer's choice. They do charge a fee. It all varies because they offer extra services to help that person. Mm-hmm. But if you don't, so we always recommend just go online and go and look at and read about each of those EFSPs and see which one might suit you the best, and whether you think you would pay a little extra to them. It's not to the clerk's office. It's not to the state government. It's to them to help you with whatever you feel that they can offer. But in addition, there is an EFSP for no fee to handle your filing as well. But so all the differences between them, the filer, it's up to them to go in and do a little research on which one they want to use. And they can choose any one they want to use, but they must use one of them. Okay. You do have to go through an EFSP.
And how are payments made through electronic filing?
That's a good question.
Credit cards, debit cards?
Yeah, the payment question is, yes. Well, so it will be through a credit card or through a e-check.
Okay.
So the people will have the opportunity to use credit card or e-check. And I know then they're using your credit card, there may be that little, the credit card company would charge just a little percentage like they do when you use your credit card. Again, that has nothing to do with the state system or the clerk's office. That would be a credit card charge using your credit card. And I do know that if you use an e-check to pay, that it's a flat 25 cents per e-check. So if you use an e-check to pay for your filing fee of whatever that might be, it'll be an additional 25 cents if you're using an e-check. It'll be an additional 2.59%, I think, for the credit card company if you use a credit card. But other than that, you know, you will be able to select one of the EFSPs and not have, those are how much it will cost you just to use whatever payment type. But as far as the filing itself, you can file that for free. Of course, like I said, you do have to file, you pay the filing fee of the case.
Again, you're listening to and you're watching Clerk of the Court Live. Again, my name is Gary Smith and this is Mr. Mike Moore. And we just, you know, like to know if there's anybody out there who has any questions or comments, you can call us at 312-738-1060. Okay.
And Gary, and real quick, another phone number, everybody, real quick. I know we just have a couple minutes, and this is going to be now and throughout the whole, going forward. 312-603-HELP, H-E-L-P. That is our help desk. It's going to be a phone line. You can call in there and get information on, they'll direct you to the right place. 312-603-HELP, HELP. And that is the Clerk of the Court's help desk, and we will help you and get you to the right place.
Wow, you've given us a lot of information, and there's a lot of other information that we need to know about e-filing. Maybe you can come back, Mike, and give us some more information about e-filing and what we need to do to make sure that this program is successful.
Gary, I would love to. It's been a lot of fun being with you tonight.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the Clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, the Honorable Dorothy Brown, we'd like to thank you for listening in, and we'd like to let you know again that if you have any other questions about e-filing or any of the multiple services that we have at the Clerk of the Circuit Court, you could again call our number at 312-603-5031. So thank you very much for listening and watching into our program. And again, on behalf of the Clerk of the Circuit Court, Ms. Dorothy Brown, we'd like to thank you. Have a good day.
Good night.